everybody's here. Yes. So we do have one question before we get started. And this is actually a really good question. I mean, not like there aren't good. Every question is a good question. But this one, I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way. Okay, so when you're finger spelling your address, so like we live at 679, do you finger spell 679 or 679? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I completely know what you're saying. And so what's kind of, because we asked this also real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to say, if you guys are hearing noises, my washer machine is on and I apologize. I was hoping it'd be finished before I started the class, but my washer machine was like, no, I'm going to continue. So if you hear something, I promise it's just the washer machine. It should be done soon. So hopefully it will stop. But if you hear it, that's what you're hearing. I just don't want anyone to think, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. What am I hearing? So, but anyways, back to the numbers. So when you're doing addresses and years, it really kind of depends on the person. So there's about two different ways that are more like, not more accepted, but more done, I guess. And so, for example, like if you're having a number, like it's like your address is like 1543. And so you can do 1543. You can do that, or you could do 1543. Either way is accepted. It's like, I've not seen anyone be like, that's wrong. And it's the same goes for the years. So, because it's actually a really cool thing is that when the year 2000 happened, apparently it was a very big like debate, like discussion about how are we supposed to sign this? Because there were some people going, do we sign 2000 or do we do 2000 or do we do 2000? Like, how are we supposed to do this? And there really never came a big like solve, except for a lot of people did do the 2000. So a lot of times it's like for the year 2021, we do 2021. But if you're having to be like very clear, you would do 2021. So either way is accepted. I hope that helps kind of answer the question. I know it's not a very like, it's this way or no way, but that's kind of what happens in ASL is a lot of times it's very flexible, which is one of the things I like about it is that you can still communicate in a way that's slightly different. So, but alrighty. Are there any other questions you guys have before we start this class? Anything you can think of or curious about?
Can we do the morning, afternoon, evening?
Yes. Thank you for that. I put it on my phone and yet I still forgot. This is why I need people like you to literally go, please don't forget this. Okay. So in the last meeting, right at the end, Miss Amy reminded me that when we were doing time, we did not do morning, afternoon, or evening, or night. So I'm going to show you guys those signs, and then we'll get into our Halloween signs. Okay, so the sign for morning, I have to kind of lean back so I can show you. You're going to have your non-dominant hand basically in the middle of your elbow of your dominant hand. And then your dominant hand's going to go up, morning. And so if you were going to say good morning, you would do good, which is non-dominant hand out, dominant hands on your chin, good. So good morning. Good morning. Yes, perfect. And then we have afternoon. So afternoon is going to be, again, your non-dominant hand is level across, non-dominant, and then your dominant hand is going to face out. And I'm going to kind of turn sideways so you can see what it looks like from the side. And you're going to have it kind of bending forward. And so it goes forward a little, afternoon. And so from my perspective, looking at front, it looks like this. But my hand is slightly forward. Yes, afternoon. So then you can do good afternoon. And some people bounce it a little straight. Either way is acceptable. Then we have evening, really night is what is more, I've seen more of. And so the sign for night is going to be non-dominant hands of fist. Dominant hand just comes on top, night. Night. So good night. All right. Okay, so has everyone got morning, afternoon, night? Feeling good on those? One cool thing I will say for saying like good morning is, especially I've noticed like when talking with like at my school, is not everyone does the full good morning, that full sign. They actually use kind of, it's almost like slang. It's a shortened version where you go, good morning, good morning. And it's just not having this other hand involved. You just have your chin go forward and then goes up. So good morning. So forward and then up. Good morning. Good morning. And I think that's so cool. I remember my internship. I walked into the school very nervous because I told myself I was not going to talk at all. I was going to only sign. And I was very like, okay, we can do this. Because this was the first time I'd ever have to fully just only communicate with sign for longer than an hour or two. And I remember I kept going, good morning to everybody. And it was such a challenge because I had a backpack on. So I'm just like, good morning, got to fix my backpack again. And I would just see everyone go, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I was like, oh, that's nice. I like that. So good morning. All right. Now, are we ready for our Halloween signs? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I just love the Halloween signs. They're so fun. Okay, let me pull up my list so I make sure I don't miss anything. So obviously the first sign is going to be the sign for Halloween, which I know we have done, but I'm going to do it again. So Halloween, Halloween. You can also do the H's where it's Halloween. Either way is accepted. So if you were to say happy Halloween, you would go happy. So you just tap it up your chest. Happy Halloween. It's one of my favorite things. Happy Halloween. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. This is like my favorite one to do. Okay. Then I have haunted house. So for haunted house, I do more of scary house, which still works. I think I've seen once or twice the sign, like a sign specifically for haunted, but whenever I talk to others, I see them say scary house too. So the sign for scary is just the same for scared. It's, you have two fists and then you just throw them across your chest and face, scared. So scared. So you go scary house. So you make that triangle and then down. So scary house. House. And again, either way, the pointer fingers, full hands, either way works. It's whatever you do that makes you get that house sign. So haunted house. Okay. Now we have witch. So for witch, I will say there's a lot of times for signs, there can be a slight difference in other things. It's almost like a dialect. And so like, and that's when you say, well, down in the South, we tend to say y'all and those things. And you may not hear that up north. It's the same in ASL. So there may be some slight, if you're ever talking to someone and they might do it slightly different, both are accepted. It's just a different way a person has learned it. So just thought I would say that. Okay, so witch, if you're gonna have your non-dominant hand with a, like almost like your X, but now facing up, dominant hand's also in an X, have it to your nose, and then have your X's touch. Witch, witch. And it's supposed to be that long nose you got. Witch, witch, witch.
That is like my favorite sign.
I know. That's literally every time I think about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just love all these signs. I'm going to say that every time. This is one of my favorite ones because they all are my favorite one. Okay. So now I have pumpkin. And I know this is not like, wait a minute, why aren't we doing monsters first and doing an order? I do not have an order. It's just all over the place. So we'll have monsters and then we'll have food and all kinds of things just kind of mixed together. So we got our witch. Now we're going to do pumpkin. Pumpkin is going to have your non-dominant as a fist, and your dominant is going to have your middle finger, and you're just going to flick your top of your hand. Pumpkin. It can hurt. Be very gentle with yourself. It's not a hard flick. It's just a little tap tap. I love watching my kids do this. Sometimes when they get super excited, they do it really hard, and then they stop mid-sentence, and they just go, and you can see them just going, ow. And I'm like, gentle. And they're like, I know. So pumpkin. And this one, a lot of times people use it for like jack-o'-lanterns. Like I tend to finger spell jack-o'-lanterns. You could do light pumpkin. So light, it's the same thing, that flicking motion, but on your chin, light pumpkin. But most of the time I finger spell it.
How would we say carving pumpkins?
So that what you do is it's almost like you're acting out a play. Okay, so you'll do pumpkin, you'll make your shape of your pumpkin, and then you'll pretend to carve out of it. And so that's how you, yes. This is one of my favorite things. Again, oh my gosh, I say this every single time. I'm sorry. I say this is one of my favorite things. Everything's my favorite thing. But I think it's so cool that in ASL, you can sometimes, it's almost like you're just acting it. So like you'll have your pumpkin and like you'll just be pretending like you're carving out a face. So, all right. Then we have vampire. So vampire is going to be, you're going to have 2 hooks basically. And then you're just going to go vampire. Vampire. Now I have seen some go vampire on the wrist. I had one student do that and I looked at her and I was like, okay, but vampire, this one makes more sense to me. Like, I mean, I get it, but I was like, this one's like the classic, like, I want to suck your blood. So I was like, no, we're going to do this. Vampire. Then I know it very much is. But you know, unfortunately, that's what a lot of like ASL signs can be, is very visual. So then we have bat. So B-A-T. I want to make sure I sound right. Bat. So what you'll do for bat, oh, I'm sorry. I was just finger spelling it just to clarify that I was saying the word bat. Because I sit there and I think, did they hear what I said? Or are they just trying to guess what I said? So I was just finger spelling just to say it. So bat is going to be, again, those 2 little hooks. And you just go across your chest. Bat. And this is like you have it, like, you know, when you see a bat hang upside down, they kind of curl up into themselves and they have their little claws right here. Bat. Bat. These are just so, oh my gosh, you guys. I love these so much. They're my favorites. Okay, so then we have skeleton. So skeleton is the same sign you would use for bones. So, because of course they're the same thing. And so the sign for skeleton is going to be now 2 little hooks on each side and bones. So this can be for just talking about the skeletons, like the fun skeletons we see, or talking about your actual skeleton or an animal skeleton. All right. Then we have monster. So monster is going to be what you would pretty much think it would be. Monster, monster, monster. And I always like to make that like face of like monster, you know, I just think it's such a fun, just getting into these signs is fun. Don't be afraid to be like, oh, I'm going to totally make my facial expressions move. Because if you just go monster, monster, it's not as fun. And they're going to be like, are you sure you're using the right sign? Because you're not going monster. So monster. All right, then actually, you know what? We'll stop there and we'll go back because I'm going so fast with these because I'm having so much fun with them, but I'm like, you guys are learning these, not just going over them for fun. So we'll go all the way back to our happy Halloween. So happy Halloween, happy Halloween. Then we had haunted house. So scary house. Oh, excuse me, scary house. And again, either way, if you have just a pointer finger or the whole full hands, either way works. It's just whatever makes you, whatever is comfortable with you. Then we had our witch. So witch, witch, witch. Then our pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. Then we had our vampire, so vampire. And again, 1 tab, 2 tabs, that one is not, it makes a difference for. So vampire, vampire, either way, vampire. Then we have bat, bat, bat. Thank you, Miss Katie. I would have forgotten that one. Bat. And then jack-o'-lantern, which again, I usually just finger spell, but you can do light pumpkin. Probably makes sense to do probably pumpkin and then light, because I feel if you did light pumpkin, they would say like light color. So pumpkin, light, that, pumpkin, light. Then we had our skeleton. And then our last one that we had before our last review one is monster. I'm having so much fun with this. I'm sorry. I'm like love looking at you guys' facial expressions because you guys are totally getting into it. And it's just, I'm like, yes, this is it. Okay. So now we're on to our new ones. So the next one is zombie. Now I have seen zombie finger spelled. I have also seen the sign for zombie as zombie, where you have your hands just fully out like zombie. Again, it's all that visuals, you guys. Like, it's like when you sit there, you're like, okay, that does make a lot of sense. Like you see a zombie and it's, ooh, so zombie. There's a couple others that I've seen as well, but I cannot remember. I tend to just do zombie. And if I'm not being clear, then zombie. Okay, then we have candy. So candy is going to be your pointer finger on the corner of your lip or your chin, mouth, and you just twist it back and forth, candy. And so this is like for any kinds of candy. If you're going to have a specific kind, you do finger spell that. So if you're talking about like Kit Kats, Skittles, whichever, you finger spell them. And then you can say candy. All right. Then we have ghost. Oh, perfect. I will give you that sentence. Don't you worry. That is at the end. Sorry, she asked if I can, how we would say I want candy. And I will give you guys that one, I promise. So the next one is ghost. Ghost is going to be your two middle fingers again. They're going to start kind of like they're touching and then ghost. And you just kind of pull it. It's almost like you're pulling a string between your two fingers. Ghost. This is also the sign for spirit. Anything that you would think of that's sort of like a ghost, a ghoul, ghost. Then we have the sign for, I love it. Yes, I know. Like every time you're like, okay, this one's my favorite. And then you find another one, you're like, no, this one's so much better. So then we have costumes. So costumes is going to be the same thing you do for clothes, which is clothes. Costume, clothes. To be clear of what you're talking about, a lot of times people will go Halloween costumes. So Halloween costumes. All right. And then we have werewolf. So werewolf is going to be you signing wolfman. So the sign for wolf is wolf. It's like you're making that snout, wolf. And then man. So wolf man. I just love the sign for wolf. I don't even know. It makes me laugh. I just think about those really funny looking wolves that just have these really, really long snouts. And I just go really far out for a wolf. Wolf man. Then we have spider. So the sign for spider, I think you guys are going to like this one, is you're going to have your hands on top of each other across, and then you just wiggle your fingers. So it's like you're making an actual spider. So spider. And it's just, you're like pretending you're literally making a spider. And I love it because you can just see it so easily, spider. Then we have Frankenstein. So Frankenstein, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. The more common one I see is Frankenstein because of his little lightning bolts. So Frankenstein. Some people will do the F's, just to be that clarified for Frankenstein, but Frankenstein as well with just pointer fingers. Either way, I like this one because it makes it more noticeable that you're talking about Frankenstein. So Frankenstein. Then we have mummy. So mummy is going to be very much like bat and skeleton, but now you just do your full hands, mummy. So mummy. Okay. There's two more, and then we will go back through all of them. And then if there's any other ones you guys have, you can definitely ask me. So the next one I have is for party. So the sign for Halloween party. And the sign for party is going to be, you have your two V's down, and then you have them go back and forth. And the meaning of it, looking of it, is that these are like people and they're dancing. So many dancing people, so party. So you'd go Halloween party. And then the last one I have is a black cat. Black cat. Sorry, I did not pronounce that right. So the sign for black is going to be a pointer finger across your forehead. Black. Black. And then cat is going to be cat. And it's like the whiskers. I always think about how these are your sticking out whiskers. So whiskers. So black cat. Okay. Now let's review what we have. And then if you have any others you guys can think of, like definitely let me know and I can sign them. And if I don't know them, then I will find someone who does. Where did we stop? We stopped with monster. Okay. So we have zombie. So zombie. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there's also, I think one's also this, where you just do that back and forth motion of a zombie. So either way works. Then we have candy, candy, candy. Then we have ghost, ghost. And again, it's kind of like, they're not both sideways. They're kind of like almost, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. Basically, there's, how would you describe this? So one hand, your hand that's got the pointer finger pinching the bottom is like your nail is facing outward. When you put your dominant hand, your nails are facing sideways. Ghost, if that makes sense. If I was there, if we were in person, I could very much show you guys better, but it's that trying to figure out how to describe this. So ghost. Then we had Halloween costumes. So Halloween costumes. And you want to go down. And the reason with the downing is because it's showing like all down our clothes. So costumes. Then we have werewolf or wolfman. So wolf, wolf, man, wolf, man. Then we have spider, spider. I love this one. I just love it so much. I'm sorry. I just think of us. I love the little fingers moving. I don't know why it makes me laugh, but it does. Then we have Frankenstein, Frankenstein. Then we've got, well, also Frankenstein, Frankenstein, Frankenstein. Then we have mummy. So mummy. And then we have party, party. And then our last one is black cat, black cat, black cat. Okay. So before we get into some simple, I'll just give this one now. I want candy. So there are technically two ways you can say it. I'm going to give you the more ASL, not ASL accepted one, but the more actual ASL one. And then one that's actually in that English structure that we are kind of used to. So I want candy in ASL would be me want, which you start with open fingers and bend them in. So as you get closer, you bend them in. Want. So I want candy. And so that's I want candy. If you were going to do it more English-like, you would do the sign different. The only sign that's different is the sign for I. Because when I'm doing this is me. So me want candy. If you were going to do I, you have your I and you go I. And this is the sign for actual I. It's not, you use it more when you're reading sentences and you're trying to be trying to follow the English grammar structure. So I want candy. So, but most of the time it's me want candy. And every time I do that, all I hear is the song. And I remember in high school when I learned that when we learned our Halloween signs and we learned candy, my friends and I would look at each other across the room, like our other classes, and just randomly sign, I want candy. And then we just, we had so much fun with it. That's every time I hear it, that's all I think about. So I was trying not to sing it as I was teaching you guys it, because it's very hard not to. Okay, so now, do you guys have any?
Sorry, can you do I like as well as I want?
Yes. So for I like candy, you'll again do that me. And then like is going to be, again, it's that middle finger and that thumb. You'll start at your chest and pull out. So you're not pinching at your chest. You're kind of like touching and then you pinch like. This is the sign for any kind of like you like to eat. I like going to the movies. I like that person, like. And I'll give you guys this because it's a good kind of, connection is to say don't like, which if you don't like candy, I feel I have nothing to say. I don't want to be judgy, but I'm also like,
if you don't like candy, Gillian doesn't want to know you. Get out of class.
I am the sugar queen. I love candy. Literally, I bought 2 big bags for my classroom and I've already been snacking on it. It's in my drawer and I pull it out every now and then. I steal a piece of candy and I got caught today. So I had to give all my kids candy this afternoon. I was like, I'm trying to hide it for this Friday, but I was like, I can't do it. I need something. So, but if you were to say, I don't like candy or I don't like something, you would say me, and then you'll do the same thing for like, but now you'll throw it away. Don't like. So this is time for don't like. And so you can also go not, which this is time for not. It's your thumb under your chin and you go forward, not. And this is for any kind of thing, like you're saying of not, like the UN meaning of words. So if you're saying like not finished, not good, I mean, usually you can say bad, but still is just any kind of not. So these are not. So that's kind of the one you would use. That's your go-to for saying something like, no, I don't want, I don't like. And so you can do not like. That works as well. Yes, I do see yours. So the sign, I gave you guys a sign for cat. I'll give you the sign for dog. And then I think we should have a class, should have at one point a class where we do animals. So we will get into more animals later, I promise. So the sign for dog, you guys got to bear with me. It's always hard to explain because you use your thigh, okay? So you pat your thigh and you come up in a snap. I know you probably can hear it. So it's like you pat your thigh and then snap. And so what it is that motion of whenever you're saying, you know, come here, boy, and you pat your legs to like say, come here, it's that and then the snapping. So that's dog. Oh, Miss Katie, I'm in shorts though. I was comfy. I was in my teacher clothes. I didn't want to, but it's basically just, you're hearing it hit. But so it's the thigh, you hit your leg and then you snap up. Next time I'll wear pants so I can actually sign this better. I'm just in shorts and yeah, we get this. So dog. It's always fun, especially when a kid's going like really fast, talking about like how they see a dog. They just go dog, 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 dog. And they're just repeatedly hitting, going back and forth. And I'm like, I get it. You're excited. So that's the sign for dog. Are there any other signs you guys can think of for like Halloween or really anything you guys are curious of at this moment? I mean, right now, because all I had planned were these fun Halloween signs. So we have extra time for any kinds of words you guys are curious about. Oh, okay. Sorry, Miss Katie sent one. So trick or treat is actually a very challenging one to ever figure out the sign for because every time I ask people, it's a different one each time. I have seen trick or treat where you knock on doors, like you pretend to knock on doors and then you have your bag of candy for each. I've seen that as trick or treat. I've seen where it's just one give. Some people will do trick, which is like 2 bent fingers, trick, and then candy or sweet. I've seen that. I've seen people just fingerspell trick or treat. I've also seen people just say get candy. So it's always different. I've never been able to get a full, like, this is what's most commonly used for trick or treat. There's always a different one. So a lot of times for me, just so I'm like making sure that I'm being clear across what I'm trying to say is I'll fingerspell it. But for some younger kids who can't really read me fingerspelling, I get into it and I just pretend to be, that's when I do the knocking on the door and I'm like, pretend I'm getting candy. And then I'll like make that motion of the candy coming in. I mean, I put on a whole show for it. So that's how I go about for trick or treat. Okay, so dinosaur. Oh, that's a good one. I love the sign for dinosaur. It's not as like big a deal as much as like the other cute ones are, but I like dinosaur. So dinosaur is going to be sideways arm of your non-dominant, and your finger, your dominant is going to make that D, and it's dinosaur. Dinosaur. And so I always think about just the dinosaur walking. Dinosaur. So dinosaur. That's the sign for dinosaur. And again, that arm usually is lower, so you're not always going dinosaur, dinosaur. It's more down, dinosaur, dinosaur. Okay. So so let me ask this. When you mean will you, are you saying like
I'm a mom.
I'm a mom. I want the will you please go do this? Or let's go get the car.
Okay. So the reason I asked that is because in ASL, again, it's very to the point. It's not, we use all that almost like, not saying flowery language. I'm just saying as a whole of like, we'll say flowery language, to make it kind of almost makes those sentences a lot bigger. And we have like fillers that are important in English. They are. I'm not saying they're not. But in ASL, they're just like, no, we're not doing that. So if you're saying like, let's go, the sign for basically you would go like you and me, or come on, or go. So a lot of times I'll be like, I'll look at all my kids, I'll make that motion of, I'm talking to you all, let's go. Go. You can add the sign for please. And the sign for please is going to be please. It's just it's just rested and rep. Yes. Please. It's a circular motion. So you can go, please, go, please. I have to do that a lot because I have some kids who act very silly and they're in the classroom. I'm like, it's time to go. We're going. Go, please. And they're like, okay. And they'll leave. So also, I don't think I've ever showed you guys the sign for sorry. And that's a good one to have. So the sign for sorry is going to be like your please, but with your fist now closed. So sorry, sorry. So it's like please, but now the fist is closed. Sorry. And that's how you would say like, I'm sorry, sorry, anything about that. If you're saying very sorry, a lot of people, most of the time they'll just go, I'm sorry. They may say really, and really is going to be your finger and it goes really, really, really sorry. Also, I'm sorry. I'm going in my mind going, oh, I'm going to tell them this one and this one. I'm about to give you guys like so many. You're going to be like, okay, wait, never mind. But really is also the sign for true. Like if you're saying true or false. So true, the truth. There's a different one for honest, but this is that really, you can use it for that car really needs cleaning, or did you really see that happen? Or are you telling me the truth? So that's that sign for really or true. The sign for thank you is going to be your hands on your chin and you go, thank you, thank you. So it's very much like good, but good, you end on your hand, good. Thank you, you just end it on its own. Thank you. And I will just say fair warning, make sure your fingers are on your chin and not under your chin. That is a very big difference. And I'm not going to say what it is, but under your chin is not a nice word. It is not a nice word at all. So it's very important you touch your chin because you will be saying the opposite of what you were trying to say. So, all right, are there any other questions or signs you guys are curious about?
Sorry, the list. Can I do two more?
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, totally, go for it.
So upstairs, downstairs.
Okay, so the way for upstairs and downstairs is, it's actually really fun, in my opinion, is upstairs is literally upstairs. Upstairs. You just pretend like you're crawling up. Like you literally, these become your legs in a lot of situations. So upstairs, downstairs is when you're going down, downstairs. So, and then, oh, I can teach you you're welcome. I'm sorry, that was like a whole motion. So your welcome is going to be welcome. And so welcome is, you kind of start outward. It doesn't really matter where. And you end at like your midsection, just kind of like welcome. Welcome. That's why I went, you're welcome. I was like, wow, I never taught you that one. So yes. Any others you guys are curious about? I mean, it can be literally any signs you guys are thinking of. I don't judge. I'm very much like, please ask me, because if you don't know now, then I mean, you don't have to wait till we have a certain class on that topic. We can learn it now. I see the sign for drawing. So the sign for drawing is the sign for draw and the sign for art. They're all the same. And it's going to be your non-dominant hands, palm up. Dominant hands got your pinky out. And then you just go draw. And you just make your little squiggles. So drawing, art class, please draw a picture of a cat. So draw. For can you, I'm going to try to put it in a sentence. And the reason for that is to help kind of make sure I'm giving it right, because the sign for can is going to be two fists going can. It's like two yeses, can. But again, depending on what kind of sentence you mean, it can change it. So can you please close the door? You would, instead of saying can you, I mean, you could, but it's a lot of extra signs for no reason almost, is you would just say like door close, please. So door, now that I'm doing this, so door, this is a sign for door. It's two B's touching and then it's opening like it's a door. If you were to say close the door, you have it start opening and you close it. If it's an open, if it's a you want the door open, you have them closed and you open it. So it's a very much, think about what you want the door to do. Do you want it closed or do you want it to have it open it? So, but you can say, can you? A lot of times that's not used much unless you're being like you paint a picture, can, and that's where you'll put that can at the end. And that's showing that you're asking a question. Can you do that? Instead of I'm sorry, I'm getting into myself where I'm getting in that like, okay, no, wait, how would I do this? And if you're like asking them a question like, can you do this? Can you actually draw this? Can you actually read that book? That's when you would do the can at the end with your eyebrows up to show it's a question. If you're asking them to do something like, can you open the door? Can you please get some water? You would not use the can at all. You would just say, please get me water. And that's how you would say, that's basically you asking.
Okay, can I clarify?
Yes.
Let me make sure I understand this. What you're saying is basically, if you are trying to make sure you understand whether someone is capable of doing something, you can. If you're just saying, close the door, get some water, quit hitting your sister, you just say, do it. You're not, okay.
You're not adding that. Because that's where I guess it would come in, where it's that extra signs. See, this is why, and I'm grateful you clarified, because I'm not always the best at clarifying and clearing it up. So I need someone who's going to be like, no, this is what this is what it means. Because I will just go on and on and on. But yes, that's exactly it.
Well, after this many ASL classes, I've finally caught on that it is very blunt. And, you know, if you were going to actually say out loud what you're signing, it's not exactly word for word all the time, depending on what it is.
Very little, not very little, but you're right. Most of the time, especially when I'm signing, and if I'm voicing, I don't know if I've said how sometimes I might have to sign and talk at the same time, which is called SimCom. It's that S and a C, SimCom. It's very challenging. I'm doing it now with you guys, but I'll be honest, my signing may not be as the best as it could be, because I'm focused more on my voice rather than my signing. Because I'm trying, because that's the language we're using, is voice, is English, is speaking. But if I'm at my school and if I'm talking to someone who is also hearing, then I might be, but I'm like in an area where there's a deaf person in the conversation as well, but I'm voicing a little, my voicing does tend to get actually more ASL sounding like, So I'll be like candy I want. Like I'll say candy I want instead of like I want candy. I would say like candy I want, or I would flip it a little bit. So sometimes that in ASL it is different, and so it can get a little blah. But yes, I think I've lost my train of thought on that. I think I kind of swerved off a little. So I'm hoping to get right back on, but I'm not sure right now. So, but yes, ASL is very straight to the point. It does not really always have a lot of just, we're going to add this word and this word and that word and this word. It's just, no, what's the main point? What is it you're trying to say? So.
Before you go on, please review quickly. Please, thank you, and you're welcome.
Okay, so please is open palm in a circular motion, please. Thank you is going to be from your chin. Thank you. Thank you. And then your welcome is going to be going into your stomach. So welcome. Welcome. You can add that you're welcome, but a lot of times it's just welcome. All right. Are there any other questions you guys have? Any comments you want to say? Or are you guys kind of just ready to be like, I think we've got enough signs for tonight. We can finish a little early. Either way works for me.
One thing I wanted to mention to everybody in the class that I think I forgot to do last class. Back in our very first class, Gillian and I shared some videos that are saved on the YouTube channel. And I'll send those out when I send out the link to tonight's class. But there's one really good one that has two people who are deaf answering questions that people ask Google about deaf people. And it's really, really good. And then there are just a couple of other lessons that are maybe a minute or two that I'll share with y'all, and it's just informational stuff. But the one where the people are answering questions is about 5 or 6 minutes. It's funny, but it's also it's really interesting. So
it gives a lot of information because it's questions you may be thinking yourself or be like, never thought of something like that before. And so I remember when you sent it to me, I was like, oh my goodness, I was laughing.
Like one of the questions is something like, do you dream? It was something about how deaf people dream.
Do you dream with people talking, or do you dream
yes,
with
it's just,
signs?
Yeah. And it was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that,
It's very interesting, I will say. It's always kind of cool to hear, because like I know a lot of people will ask when people like have their inner thoughts, when you sit there and you're thinking to yourself, are they thinking with pictures of signs, or are they picturing is it actually them hearing someone? And I actually, whenever I talk to people, or I've read about informational, like during my classes, you can get very mixed answers. Some will say, yes, no, I see these signs. I see someone signing it. And especially for those who may have had hearing before, they will say, no, I do hear it. I hear someone. So it's that kind of concept that's very interesting. It's always very fascinating, at least for me, because I'm always just like, I love learning about how people think and the ways people understand and interpret stuff.
Brains and language are so cool.
Yes.
Katie, you mentioned the YouTube channel. Each of these sessions, we've had a link to the YouTube, but are they all collated in one location?
They are. So we have a YouTube channel that has lots of different stuff on it. And then there's one ASL for beginners playlist. That playlist has every class we've done for the whole year. So y'all's session and the 3 other sessions prior. And then it has some of those videos that I was talking about.
Where do we
all
find
of that?
Where do we find that?
You should be able to get, like when you open up your...
I have open now last week's session, and it's called ASL for Beginners, Session 4, Class 3. But there's no other link that I can find that goes to the entire series.
If you search just O'Neill Library on YouTube, you can find the page. And then it'll have the list of playlists, because we have some other video series we've been doing that are not ASL. but you should be able to click the ASL one and you could see every class.
Okay.
Sorry, Kate, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm just logging in right now because I didn't have YouTube open and I couldn't remember what it looked like.
I've had to search for the classes several times because I wrote up for the annual report, so that's how I knew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. I will also figure out what the link is for the ASL playlist, and I'll send that to y'all as well, because there is a link to the entire playlist. It's just when you open it, what I've been doing is putting the most recent classes at the very top. So you would see ours, but if you scroll down, you would see the previous classes. On
the O'Neill website, under adult programs or audio books, I don't see.
There's an ASL page on the website. So in adults, there's a little section under book clubs that says stuff you should know. And if you click on American Sign Language, that's information about our class and a link to our YouTube channel at the bottom of that page.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's Gillian.
Oh, sorry, I got so when you said my name, I was like, what?
Hey, what happens if we're finger spelling something and we have to stop and start over in the middle? Is there a sign for like, wait, let me start over?
So you're so yes, I've been seeing you finger spelling. I started laughing because I was like, wait, what's she doing? And then I finally was like, oh my gosh, I know what she's doing. So a lot of times, like if I'm finger spelling and I'm finger spelling it wrong, I literally go, there's no real like clear sign. I may say the sign for again, which is again or repeat. But a lot of times I'm very dramatic with it. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll be like, let's see, I'm just gonna pretend to finger spell a word that I cannot ever spell correctly. I have to think of a word, sorry. I'm trying to think of a word. I'll do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious because I know I cannot spell that word right and I will literally make a reaction out of it. So well, wait, now I'm getting it. Nope. And so I'll do that where I like, it's almost like I'm letting go. And sometimes I'll just be like, no, I'll just go no. And then I kind of almost like make that motion of going back. But a lot of times you can just go like wrong or repeat, and then you'll finger spell it again. There's not really like a clear like, oh, I'm wrong. Like, I mean, there is a clear sign of saying wrong, which is mistake. It's a Y and you just kind of brush it across your chin. Mistake. It's going to be your knuckles touching your chin. Mistake. And so it kind of starts, I'm trying to figure out how to show it. So it's like my knuckles are here and they're rolling across my chin. Mistake. Yes. And so you can say mistake again, and then you can finger spell. A lot of times, and that's more, I guess, to help kind of for like us, like for hearing people when we're learning it, that's probably the best way to say that is say mistake again. But when you start having those conversations and it's a little more natural, it's like when it's like when you're trying to spell a word out and you go, wait, no. And then you start again, but you don't ever say, oh, wait, I'm wrong. Or, I mean, you might do that, but like, at least I'm always like, wait, no. And then I'll say it again. So, but yes, I hope that kind of clarified. I know that was that's just how it is. Also, I see that someone asked the sign for read. So the sign for read it's a B, and it's like your eyes reading a page of a book. So read. And then, so someone asked if we could do do a little bit of practice of finger spelling. Is that good with you guys? Okay, so I'm gonna do a few words and I won't do too big just because too big can get very overwhelming. So the first word I have is, if you guys are ready. watching Miss Katie's reactions because she gets so mad when she realizes she's, like she saw and she goes, oh my gosh, I can see you're just like, of course it's that. So let me do it again.
It's like Wheel of Fortune, and I'm losing out.
So yes, fast. This is a sign for fast also. I'm sorry. I know I'm just keep adding signs randomly, but that's just kind of my thing. It's like you're starting with it and you're just going back fast. Okay. Then we have, I'm looking at what's around me, so please don't judge me if I'm just randomly signing words. So we have number two.
A-O-D-A. A-O-D-A.
Oh, so it's S.
S-O-D-A. Soda. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to distract, but so when you said this is fast,
Yes.
is this something in sign language? Like when people give finger guns, does that mean something else?
Not that I've ever seen, but again, like there's always a good chance that I totally may be overlooking something, because when I mean that is like I wasn't taught that and I've not seen it, but it could very well be something. But yes, I haven't seen anything that really like is that. So, but yes, this is that sign for fast. If I do come across someone like that, I will definitely let you know. So, but yes, I actually do. I do mean Coca-Cola. That's what I have right now. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that's like, I love soda. And so I don't drink it during the school. But when I come home, I'm like, I have to have a can of soda. I have to have a soda. So it's right in front of me. That's why I was like, oh wait, I can do that. Okay. We'll do about 2 or 3 more. Okay. I gotta look around my kitchen again. Okay. That should help. Gives you guys keys. It's stuff you will find in a kitchen. Okay. Yes. I saw Miss Amy. She finished it for me and I love it. So I'll do it again. All right. I see one person has typed. If you guys can't, that's okay. Or if you're still stuck, do y'all need me to repeat it again? Or have you guys got it? Okay. So it was oven. But yes, let's see. And then we'll do those 2 more. Let's see. Okay. I have one. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to like totally look around everywhere just to give me an idea. All right. So here's one. You've been practicing. I can see it. Oh, you're good. Okay. Yes. All right. So. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys, you're doing awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally like, every time I see, if you ever fingerspell it faster than me, go for it. That tells me like, you've not only practiced, you're like, oh wait, I can get this. So yes. Okay. Perfect. So yes, it was trash. My trash can is right next to me. That is why I saw it. Okay. I have, I'll do 2 more. Okay. This one's going to be a long one. I know I said I wasn't going to, but I think you guys are ready for it. Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness. Miss Katie, you got to catch up. I watched them all. I was like, okay, she's on the typing.
I know. I'm too distracted by raccoons right now. I really am.
Oh, wait, the sign for raccoon. Oh my gosh.
We have trash bandits in our backyard.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
No wonder, and that makes so much, because I was like, wait, raccoons. I saw the word raccoon out of the corner of my eye. Oh my gosh, trash bandit. I am not sure actually. I'm gonna ask someone about it. How would you sign the sign for raccoon? But I don't actually know it. I will definitely check and see. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something related to that or some form of it. Because if you think about it, ASL can be just very like, well, if I were to make a sign for this, or if I was to think of something that would make sense, it would be something like that. That's usually how it is. Okay, so we're gonna do one more, okay? Yes.
The sign for raccoon is something like that. I think I just Googled it.
Yes, that's it. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. So raccoon, yes. Thank you, Vivian, for, just, oh my gosh, yes, I completely forgot that. I learned that in high school, but never have had to use it. So, which is kind of surprising because we do live in Alabama and I see lots of raccoons. Miss Katie, you're muted. I saw her talking. I saw a mouth movement, but not hearing.
What I was trying to say is, now that you have a house of your own, you're going to have to sign raccoon a lot.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. See, I always let that be my dad's problem. I was like, I'm not.
Are you in the woods?
Thankfully not, but there are a lot of bunny rabbits. So, I mean, yes, I look at them and I say, this is a bad place to be. I have a big dog and a little one who still likes to act like she's a big dog. I don't think that's a smart place, but okay, we'll do one more, okay? All right, you guys ready? All right. I'm gonna go a little faster than normal. Yes, you guys. Oh, I'm so proud. I'm getting like that teacher giddy excitement of like, oh my gosh, my students are learning. I get this moments in class sometimes and I just get so hyper and like so excited and my kids just look at me and they're just like, okay, what's going on? And I'm like, you guys got it. So yes, oh my gosh. You guys are doing so good. I definitely encourage the outside of class to continue if you are, which I think you guys are the way you guys are able to read it. Continue practicing, especially whenever you go outside, even if it's just looking at your books. Like if you have like a little library of just stack of books and just finger spelling the letters of the books. I mean, that practice helps. And it helps you start to pick up on making connections of like letters that are normally together. Because I do that a lot. That's how I misspell words when I'm finger spelling, is because words like, well, letters like LA, those words are kind of used you see them often. LA, land, ladder, Alabama, you see that LA. So it's very easy to just do LA. And so if I remember having to do long, I'll end up doing lang. And I'm like, no, long. So but it'll get more natural and more comfortable and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, wait, no, I totally see what word you're saying. So, oh my gosh, I'm so proud right now. Yes. Okay. I gotta calm. Guys, I cannot get hyper right now. No, so I'll say we'll stop for now. Our plan for next week is to do, let me see if I can check it real fast. Our next class, oh goodness, if I remember where we are, will be activities and food. So like things we like to do and then all kinds of food. So that'll be an exciting one. So I will see you guys next week and I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.